Good morning, all of you. Just really nice to see you all coming in, greeting each other from different places over the world, from different types of weathers you are mentioning in the chat, inner weathers and outer weather. So taking time to settle in here. My name is Nirmala. I'm speaking from the north of Germany, where I live in an eco-village together with my 3 children and my husband. And I'm practicing the Buddha Dharma since more than 20 years. When I was 19, I left to Asia and I spent almost 10 years, a lot of time in Asia, meditating, doing retreats, living 1 year in Nilambe Meditation Center, which is an amazing place to practice in the mountains of Sri Lanka. And this practice kind of saved my life, I would say. And since 16 years, I'm leading a school for mindfulness, yoga, meditation, embodiment. So welcome to all of you. Still people arriving, coming in. So the topic I am touching on this week is bringing death into life. And I mean it as simple as I say it here. As I said yesterday, I could fill a whole week-long retreat with this topic. And I'd like to get us all really basic around it. Yesterday I was offering the practice at the end of the day to ask yourself, if I did die tonight, is there anything I regret? So I will speak about this about 10 minutes, and after we do half an hour of meditation. And at the end, you have time to ask questions, and you are so welcome to do that and like bring this theme alive with whatever is going on for you around this issue. If I did die tonight, is there anything I regret? Look for yourself, the day you have planned today, this day. Is this how you really want to live life? And regardless of what you're doing, like what attitude can you bring into it? What intentions? I like to read you a poem from Jennifer Wellwood. It's called The Dakini Speaks. Basically, I could just read this poem every morning and it's just enough of the teaching. It's so rich. My friends, let's grow up. Let's stop pretending we don't know the deal here. Or if we truly haven't noticed, let's wake up and notice. Look, everything can be lost, will be lost. It's simple. How could we have missed it for so long? Let's grieve our losses fully, like ripe human beings. But please, let's not be so shocked by them. Let's not act so betrayed, as though life had broken her secret promise to us. Impermanence is life's only promise to us. Drink it in, yes. Impermanence is life's only promise to us. So true. And she keeps it with ruthless impeccability. To a child she seems cruel, but she's only wild. And her compassion exquisitely precise. Brilliantly penetrating, luminous with truth. She strips away the unreal to show us the real. This is the true right. Let's give ourselves to it. Let's stop making deals for a safe passage. There isn't one anyway, and the cost is too high. This is the cost of avoiding she's talking in. I was mentioning that yesterday. It's too high. We are not children anymore. The true human adult gives everything for what cannot be lost. Let's dance the wild dance of no hope. Let's dance the wild dance of no hope. The true human adult gives everything for what cannot be lost. This is our practice here. I will talk during this week about the deathless. Again, I was mentioning it a bit yesterday. So contemplating death is a huge emphasis from the Buddha. And we contemplate it because it's true. Everything which is born dies. And when we attend to and come in harmony with what is true, there's freedom. This is the path to freedom. And not from a conceptual idea, but really from an experienced truth of this is impermanent and this is going to die. It's freeing our heart, our mind, when we realize which is true. The Buddha named 3 main causes for suffering: greed, hatred, and delusion. And one of the biggest delusion we are in is that we're living in this delusion that we won't die. And we all know, of course, on a cognitive level that we are going to die, but we don't live like that. We deny our own death and also the death of the people around us. Our unconsciousness tells me that I have enough time in this life to do whatever I actually really want to do. But in fact, we do have limited time. So the Buddha's teaching can really confront us deeply, and I ask you to go gentle with it. And really, Jennifer Wellwood, the Dakini speaks. Yeah. And really see what do you need to get these teachings in? Like, how can you comfort yourselves while being in touch with maybe fear and worries, grief? These teachings confront us because they confront our deepest delusions about who we are and what the world is. And at the same, they also give us comfort. They give us enough comfort to be with the dukkha, to be with what is challenging. Dhamma practice is really both. It's challenging and comforting. And in our society we live, death is so much ignored. Like when you have been in Asia, for example, you see like how they carry around the dead people, like a lot of flowers around them and a lot of people around them. And just so normal to see a dead person there. It's like very normal. And in Varanasi, where they burn the dead people at the Gangas, you see even body parts sometimes floating in the Ganga, in the river. So it's very different growing up in a culture where you see death on a daily basis than here in the West, where it's kind of hidden from us. It's so much hidden that even the industry, the business industry doesn't make any big deal around it. Like nowadays you can make a business around everything, right? But I haven't seen like a store for products for dying or death in the mall in the city, or balloons for sale saying happy death, enjoy dying, something like this. In the community where I live, we celebrate death in a way, and that doesn't mean that we don't grieve, but we are like, there's really a culture here, and I don't want to bring it over as this is the perfect place where I live. There are a lot of like, it's normal, it's just society like crunched together in one spot. And we have a great culture around birth and death, and with the people who die here, we wash them, we oil them, we care for them, we love them, we sing, we are with them when they die, and then we bring them in our little chapel, and the children, if this is possible, it's not all the time possible, but it happens a lot when people die here. And then the children can come. It's open for everybody to come into the chapel, and the children go. And my children, they were always really excited when somebody was dying to go there and to look and to learn. They learn something from that, and there's chalk, and they can paint the box the person is laying in, and then we all come together and celebrate the farewell, and we bring this person down to our village place, and we dance around it. Yeah. So today I want to put a few different perspectives on death, because death has something very beautiful around it. And it's, if you have been with the dying person, there's something magical. There's something really, really special. It's like a really similar atmosphere as when a baby is born. How would life be without dying? If everything would stay forever, just how would that be? And death is destroying artificial borders between races, religions, castes. It's the biggest equal maker we have. Contemplating death can make us pausing, really reflecting, and living life from a place where we really want to come from. And one perspective on death could be like that death makes the person who died even more beautiful. Like, have you noticed sometimes after someone died that like we get to see the person's wonderful qualities even more? There's something really special from this person which remains, because our body dies, but what we offer into this world stays, right? And another perspective we can take on is that our relationship to the person who died isn't just about being with this person together. And you will know this from the relationships you live in your life, that they're not about being together in the same room. There's much more about it. So can this stay with us? And if it's about love and connection, doesn't that go beyond everything? We are wild, we are mysterious. What is it? What is deathless? When the Buddha spoke about deathlessness, he was referring to the state of which is free from cycles of birth and death, free from suffering, which represents an ultimate truth of reality. And another perspective we could touch on is like that our relationship with someone who died maintains. I feel my friend who died everywhere, not all the time, because like with all my other friends, they're not present in me all the time, but I can feel her in the clouds and the moon and the wind. She's just there. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to make space for meditation now, and after I will touch on also a question which was asked yesterday, where I didn't come to yesterday, wasn't time enough. So the invitation now is to get settled in a form you can meditate, and there is an encouragement to lay down, just because addressing the issue of death could go well together with laying down. And if this topic and issue is overwhelming for you, if it's too much, just drink it in little. See also when you arrive now in your meditation, what is doing good for you right now. It could be like, for example, tapping a bit with your fingertips on your chest, or having your fingers below your collarbones. Maybe shaking the body is the right thing for you. Just so that we take the first minutes in our meditation, really finding your individual form which brings you home. What does bring you home at this moment? Maybe it's one hand on the chest and one hand on the neck, and it's really can be really helpful to stay like that for 10 minutes or more, or even one hand on the chest and one hand on the forehead, like feeling how you're holding this precious body. And before we can let go, we have to let in. Meaning like being really there with what is. And no worries, even though life, it may be difficult for you in life to let go. All of us will let go at one day, in one moment. Maybe even sighing, making some sounds, moving the jar. Arriving in this very moment. And that's all there is. It's only this moment. So what is there to die? If there's only this moment. And the invitation is to see where you can relax your body even a bit more, allowing it to drop further down into the ground, into the earth. Maybe making your exhalation even longer, which is very encouraged here, to Bring everything into the space behind the exhalation. Just being simple here. Being simple with this truth of death, of dying. While you're laying here, while you're sitting here, standing or walking. Being simple with this breath going away forever. With this inhalation in this very moment, never ever coming back. Coming and going, the birth and death of breath, of movement, of sensations. Moment to moment. Surrendering to all this, what is there at this very moment. The death of this thought. Just through becoming aware of it. Just through creating a bit space and simplicity. Ah. Nothing special to do here, nothing special to be. Allowing the body to sink into the spaciousness of the earth and the space around the earth, beyond, beyond, beyond. Can parts of the body let go even more sinking down, surrendering into the huge vastness of the planet, of the space around the planet and the space beyond. And in this vastness, it's birth and death every moment. At the same time, this breath this thought vanishing. This feeling, this emotion, this mind state, changing, ever changing, ever dying. And if you feel comfortable with it, could imagine the body dissolving into the earth, melting. The earth in the body itself, in the bones, the bone marrow. Melting with the earth element. Becoming dusty and dust. It's no need to join into this. You're so welcome to just stay doing your practice in a way you are doing it. Being kind, friendly, compassionate with whatever is coming, going, staying, feeling very stiff, maybe becoming fluid again. Or you could imagine the body melting, the water in the body becoming one with the rivers, the streams, the puddles, the rain. And if fear or anxiety come up, how close can you be with them? Can you also bring your awareness on something which is not anxious? Maybe bringing the awareness in some part of the body which feels okay, soft, or opening the eyes, looking at something which is beautiful for you, which has a sense of ease, friendliness, support. Just simple, this moment. Just simple, this body sitting, laying or standing on the ground, on the earth, melting it down, allowing the idea of the sun energy, the element of fire, the heat in your body to go away, to dissolve into the temperature of the earth, the sun, the water, the air. And when you get stuck with whatever, attached, identified, what about creating a bit space around that emotion, around that thought, around that physical pain? Just simple, just this. What about even letting go of the breath for that very moment? Allowing the air in your body to dissolve into the air in everything, everywhere. Just being part of these waves of constructing, dissolving, coming and going. Maybe for the last minute in our meditation, inhaling, feeling vastness, sensing into vastness, spaciousness, and exhaling love into this world, into this planet and all the other worlds which might be there. Inhaling, feeling your body or feeling spaciousness, vastness. And exhaling love to all beings, all the beings who lived before us, all the beings who will live after us, all the beings which are now on this earth and beyond. So, dear fellow travelers, the invitation is to start moving your body again, feeling your body, stretching your body, doing what is really good for your body now. So I was mentioning yesterday that I want to bring some teachings here about the 9 contemplations of death. I hope I will manage the time. It runs always so quick. Anyway, one of these contemplations is that you can't take anything with you when you die. Like nothing of the things surrounding you, none of the people. This is something we really have to do alone. This big transfer. And this can emphasize for us, like, what do we want to gather around us in life? And I'm talking now about material things, like how much do you want to buy and get and have? Because the things we have and we don't let go until the end of our life, other people have care for them. And if you ever have emptied the flat of a person who hasn't given their stuff away, it's quite a lot of work. My patchwork mother-in-law, I would say, I don't find a better word. She says, I prefer to give with warm hands than with cold hands. Well, I want to talk about dana here, but it really brings me to being generous in life in general. Like, I don't really want to put it like, please give us your money to keep this platform running, which we hope we do, and you do anyway. This is all happening on Dana here, which is incredible. There is so much work involved in this platform, so much dedication here and commitment. So we really appreciate if you give Dana. But more though, what I'm talking about is like contemplating death really can bring us to gratefulness and generosity in life. Like, what movement do you want to bring into this world? Like, what can you give to others? And sharing your time, sharing listening, sharing your presence, sharing gifts is like so much you leave in this world to others, and they learn from it and they will give further, like to be more fluid. Not taking ourselves so serious, not taking our things so serious. Yeah. So if you have any questions, you're welcome to type a message in the chat field. And before I attend to the questions which are there, I will attend to one of yesterday. And that was the question, how can I allow my emotions without being overwhelmed? And I think, Nita, your question goes in the same direction, what to do with feelings of fear and anxiety that keeps coming up. So the person yesterday was describing that she suppresses fear and panic to go into a rational state. And I think it's quite awesome that you're mindful enough to see that, like to really, it's wow, like how many people around you are suppressing fear and panic and go into a rational state. That's how the world is a lot about. And you see it, you recognize it, like this is a gift. And my invitation here is to go slowly and gentle, to come as close to it as you can be without freaking out. And maybe that this is like a pendulation, like, okay, there is some fear, where do I feel it in my body, what's coming up with this, seeing all the stream of thoughts, the identification with that. And then also tuning into something which is light and easy and joyful, because we tend to oversee, and coming close to death really can also give a decision to us to bring the attention on the blue sky. What does it feel how does it feel in your body if you bring the attention on the blue sky? How does the coming in contact with texture, I have this wool blanket here, like from Estonian sheep. How does that feel? Like the comfort there. Yeah. And you could also like look into identifying what frightens exactly here. And allowing thoughts, images, feelings to be there without resistance. It just, they're allowed to be there. Grieving is okay, fear is okay, and death is okay. We are living in this world where we think it's really better to become very, very, very old. But who says, who are we to decide this is better than dying very young? This is just an image, it's just an idea. Yesterday I drove through a tiny village, and suddenly there was like a huge advertisement for an insurance company. Actually, really huge, like you see I've only seen in India before like that. And it says, "Come and get really, really old." I was like, wow, what is this? Come, get really, really old. Insure your life. So yeah, this is teaching ourselves to hang out with our own fear. Yeah. Thank you for your questions. So there's another question. Yes, for me, the anxiety around all the terrible things I have done. Yes, for me, the anxiety around all the terrible things I have done. I fear next life after death will be punishment. Oh dear. Can you sense how hard that is? Yes. If we attend, if we tune towards death, we come in contact with the things we have done in life, which were doing pain to ourselves and to others. Yeah. Just really acknowledging that, and acknowledging the grief which comes from this, the pain. And then I hear your worries. Can you see it as a fear of something which maybe would happen? And can you trust in life's process? Everything which you have been confronted with in life, you were able to manage. I strongly believe that we are only confronted with the stuff which we are, even though it's incredibly painful and hard at times, we are able to cope with. Somehow it goes further. So this is like a belief, and a belief is empty. It's thoughts, a thought about death, a punished, and punishment, like death in combination with punishment. Attend to your pain now, attend to your regrets. Do practice of gratitude, of gratefulness, and of forgiveness. I've done one morning session here, at least one, about forgiveness, I think. You could maybe look that up. It's really, we are humans. It's just, this is the human dance. And like, I'm sure from the deepest point you can sink into the place of love and connection to others, and knowing that you are part of these trees which are flowering and blossoming and green, and part of the dying trees, and part of the fungus which is destroying the trees. We are part of all of that. Nobody gets a cross too heavy for them to bear, says Kevin. So really forgiving. And one practice you can do is like take like 4 meters, you walk 4 meters one direction, 4 meters back, and you do it like for half an hour. And one way you're saying, and I'm forgiving you that, and you're thinking about things you want to forgive to others. And then the way back, you say, I'm forgiving myself that I hurt you. I'm forgiving myself for having lied. I'm forgiving myself for not being able to be a good companion as I wanted, for doing pain. Like forward and backward for half an hour, for giving others one way and the way back for giving yourself. Try this. So great you're here. Thank you. Lizzie, I feel such an urgency to respond to what will I do with this wild and precious life, as though there's something important to do always out there. I'm wondering if this is the ego kicking in, but it brings about a lot of drivenness. And in my purpose is to bring peace that really doesn't fit. I try to bring humor to my sense of importance. Any thoughts? Yes, thank you, Lizzie. It's actually really a question I'm often with myself. So, and particularly because in 70, you are 74, I understand. Yeah. And even though you wouldn't be 74, Lizzie, like even for myself, this is an issue to address. Like, how much energy do I give in fulfill stuff, trying to get stuff fulfilled in the outer world, like about traveling, living somewhere else, creating a new project, setting up a Dharma retreat center, all this in the outer world, giving, helping, supporting, whatever that can be you want to do, and how much is in inner. And I think just keeping in mind that we don't know how long we have to live, it's so fine to make plans and to go steps wherever you can go them, and realizing whenever you become too obsessed about it, and then there is craving involved. This is not the natural flow of, okay, this is what life is asking from me. But when there is tension around and obsession around, and it gets stiff, then you can be sure, okay, and there I drop into my own peace right now. This is where it goes. The inner peace, the inner peace, the inner peace. And from there we can do steps. And we have to be really careful. Do we get entangled in these steps? Or do they make us flow in a direction of supporting life? And we feel that these steps are supported. Like staying with the currents of your own life energy. Yeah. And you said you're bringing humor there. So this is just great. Yeah. Thank you for this. Unfortunately, our time together. Caroline, you said when I said that you have to do this step alone, the transfer, yes, it brought you in contact with loneliness. And it's both, isn't it? Like, there is something so alone about it, yes. And this practice opens us up to, we are not separated. There is this, what is not death. It's there, which is beyond our fixed self, which is beyond our suffering, which is beyond coming and going. So spaciousness, openness. Maybe you will feel more connected than ever when you're in this process. Maybe we all do. So thank you all so much for being here together. I really appreciate your questions, your participation, you coming to join the session. Thank you for supporting this practice, the platform. Lots of love. See you tomorrow.